back. Welcome to another edition of the Sports War. And we are back. We got the full crew in the house. That is what it's all about. The Yankees, out of any team in the league, are the best equipped to handle a blow like this.
I think there is a higher power at play here. He's due law of averages. That dude is the ultimate scrub. It's trash. Yeah. Every person you have in there is fucking trash.
Next game, you're going to see a big performance. You can see it in the end of the game, and I'm just totally stoked and excited for this.
And we are back. Welcome to another edition of the Sports Sport. And today it is the Barnes, Tony, and Riley show. How you fellas doing this morning?
Phenomenal, dude. Just got my mic in front of my face, baby. We're doing phenomenal over here, dude. Big day, big Monday, big week of sports. A lot to talk to. Not even just football, by the way. I noticed like Rick and Dave this morning didn't really talk too much baseball. I understand the Mets and Yankees are out of it, but still, playoff baseball should be talked about. I'm stoked to talk about that as well. And of course, you know, the Sanderson Farms and whatnot. Let's get into it, dude.
Yeah. How you doing, Riley?
I'm doing good. Patriots blowout.
Blew it.
I don't feel great about that, but we're taking for Caleb Williams, so I'm pumped. Let's go.
Maybe Bill out the door getting humbled, just like we all want. But before we get into everything, we got a lot of comments here.
Call right now. Hold on, stand by.
And we have a call on top of it. That's really ridiculous. Wow. Is it the realtor?
Well. Oh my God, it's Matt Ryan. All right, no. Ryan wants to get into it right now, dude. No, we'll get into it. Ryan, stand by. I mean, we just put you through on the show. He wants an apology already. Hold on, stand by. He's coming in hot. Matthew Ryan is definitely coming in hot. Yeah, give him the crickets, dude. Stand by.
Matty Ice.
Matt Ryan, you there?
Yeah, where's my apology, buddy?
For what, buddy? No. Yeah, for what, dude? For what?
Wait,
For what?
199 yards.
Yeah.
No TDs, one interception. Where's my apology, buddy?
They won. I don't know if you saw, but they won, dude. Like I don't want to hear it, Matthew. I really don't, dude, because they won. They won. Like, what do you mean? Like you can't pick and choose here. They got the W, all right? Your biggest complaint of last week against the Chiefs, camera fucking died, Riley. Anyway, dude, no, we're good. Your biggest complaint of last week, Zach Wilson, good game, didn't get the W. Now we got the W here. So what are you complaining about?
The first half was like 13 seconds. You threw to Uzama and you didn't know the clock management.
Yeah, that was not great. No, yeah, that was not great. Of course, you know, I mean, he had mistakes. I'm not gonna say it's perfect.
Interception.
Yeah, I mean that was, you know, I'm sure he wanted that throwback. He probably forced it.
If we're playing the Eagles next week, you gotta bench him.
No, you don't bench him. He just got you a win. You just won, okay? This was a big must-win game.
Bench him.
You
Breece
don't
Hall
bench him. That's ridiculous. I don't care. Breece Hall, had a great game. They ran the ball a lot. Honestly, I think Hackett called an okay game for the most part. But hey, man, I mean, Zach Wilson, I mean, like, they got a W. Like, they all did. Everyone did what they needed to do all around. Whole team effort. Zach Wilson, W. You can't bench him. You can't bench him.
You know, I have to say,
you can't bench him.
It is nice, like, to kind of be like sitting back and like listening to this like from a different perspective, because usually everything that Tony's saying right now, Matthew, is what he's saying to me, and then I'm coming back with something. So
you're saying the same thing Ryan is saying.
To hear it from somebody else, it's kind of nice. It's kind of nice to just be an innocent.
You don't need to bench him.
Innocent bystander. I honestly like.
Nobody's innocent.
Tony doesn't know what he saw yesterday.
There's a win. I saw a W, dude. And Zach Wilson.
I forgot.
His players bailed him out yesterday.
Stop it,
Matt. You're a big Jets fan or no?
Yes, I am. I watched the game last night.
Nice.
yesterday. I just saw the same thing. His players bailed him out like they did on.
Stop it.
last
Yeah,
time.
you know,
Stop it. No.
I'm gonna have more to say on this, but I'm just
Yeah,
kind of
sure.
waiting, till we do like our full recap. But I have to say, I mean, it was nice having that game 4 o'clock window. I mean, really in doubt till the last, what do you want to call it? Last minute? I mean, it was exciting. So
Very exciting.
Nice to get that for sure.
Just again, I just wanted to make sure Tony knows. Like last game, they carried him last game. They carried him this game. What more do you want to see? Seriously, what more?
What do you want to see? What do you want to see is the question. Because you had a great game against the Chiefs and you hated it, and now the Jets win and you still hate it. So what do you want?
With him throwing the ball, not relying on Breece Hall and the defense. And you just need a competent quarterback. You need Simeon.
He showed competence. He showed competence. Simeon is not going to be competent. There's no way you're going to sit there or stand there, whatever you're doing, and tell me that Simeon is going to give you a better job and a better outcome than what Zach Wilson's going to do. He just won.
I really think Simeon's better.
They just won a game. How could you come up next week and say we're going to bench Zach Wilson? That'd be ridiculous if Saleh did that. That would be outrageous. You can't do that.
You're playing Philadelphia. He didn't. The first half, he looked awful. The whole game.
The whole team looked awful. You had like 6 penalties. The offensive line couldn't do anything. Your defense wasn't really shutting much down. Like the whole team looked terrible.
But how do you not throw a touchdown in the game? How do you only get 199 yards? How do you do that?
Well, he didn't need to. What's the point, dude?
You need at least 240 yards to be okay. Maybe we give him a chance. I saw no improvement. I saw the team carry him on his back like they did last year and like they did in Kansas City.
They did not carry him on his back in Kansas City. That is also outrageous. He had his best game of his career in Kansas City 2 weeks ago, and he follows it up with a win in Denver. Okay, we were talking all week, Brian. Oh, Denver scores a lot of points. Oh, the altitude. Oh, whatever.
Whoa, why
That's what you talked about.
I haven't said anything yet. So why are you bringing me
You're
into
the host of the show, Brian. You're getting brought into this.
No.
Yes,
but I'm
yes,
saying because
yeah.
I want to talk specifically about the game, and I know otherwise that the whole show will be this conversation.
No, it
on
really
the
will
phone.
be, and we're gonna have to hang up. So Jay Bird, by the way, Jay Bird is hanging up the phone. This guy's on drugs. It's a team game. He says.
But what?
Never played a sport in his
thing,
life. He says.
and we'll go back to it. But one thing, kind of, piggybacking off what you're saying, Matt. Next week. Against Philadelphia, and we talked about this before. The Jets have never beaten the Eagles ever in franchise history, so this is a really big game. You're gonna have to, if you want to actually win the game, it's gonna have to be played completely different. So it will be, and I know every game seems like it's some big type of test, but this coming week specifically, because that Breece Hall is not going to be able to run for 180 yards against that defense, and they're going to stack the box.
A competent QB. We don't have one. I saw no growth.
You're gonna see it, Matt. I gotta hang up now. We'll talk soon a little bit. We gotta move on with the show, bud. It's gonna be all show with that.
We really appreciate you calling in, though. And I'm excited to see what they can do this coming week.
Simeon Riley.
Is he's off the line?
Oh, I hung up. Yeah,
okay.
Yeah.
I think you were riled to hang up.
No. I mean, dude, I love the combo. I mean, I do. I love every bit of it.
Of course. It just seems like a discussion we've had a few times recently.
Yeah. Well, like you said, it would be the entire show.
Right. Exactly.
Like hands down, that would be the whole show.
So there's a lot of things we got to talk about, but let's just catch up on the comments. I think we have about 25. Tony,
yeah. Oh
so
my
we
God,
can do that
easily, dude. All right. So let's get on the comments here early and often. Of course, you got from Josh B. Hits you with the let's go, baby.
In the building.
He says, "What's up, great people? Jets still don't look like any kind of consistent team. The company goes perfectly on the picks.
Yeah, they actually have a half-game lead now. I
you
botched it.
fucking
I'll
kidding
take
me?
responsibility.
No, we're gonna go over that in a second too. Okay, I'll talk to you too today, Brian.
Accountability. If Zach's gonna be held accountable, so do I.
Dude.
Let's go!
We want the smoke. Jets win. Giants really suck. Hashtag rep the company. Hashtag rep DTV. Play your position. Hashtag Raiders Nation, baby.
Big Monday Night Football game tonight.
Matthew Gaber says, let's go Jets, baby. Great
Matthew.
W for Gang Green right there. Love to see it. Pumped for Hackett. Little revenge for him, certainly. Matthew Ryan came in. Zach would suck. Look who is right. They won, though. Kev Du. The Cowgirls are big bums and frauds, says Kev Du. Ha, ha, ha. Matt Ryan went on. He was right. One interception start. Simeon. That wasn't suck so bad. Michael Thief comes in. Oh, best in the business. I know Tony will hold it down for me. Matt Ryan, don't at me. Quack, quack. And then,
quick pause.
Oh,
Actually, I can't believe I've never asked this, and I don't know if it's a simple like rhyming thing.
Absolutely.
Where did that's all quacking came from? There was
it
no.
Came,
I can't believe I've never asked this before.
Yeah, I think 2 weeks ago you just started Zach.
No.
3 weeks ago.
No, it was like preseason.
Really?
Literally, yeah. I don't know. I guess probably one of those things like you hear it in your head once and then you just go with it.
Yeah, he does. Yeah, definitely. And then Matt Gabriel says, "Tony, you're back. Riley's back. The show's back." And then Michael also said, "Also, let's go. Riley is back. That's why Sports Report is the best. We covered it all." And then Matt Gabriel follows up with, "Everybody's back." And then he says, "JETS, Jets, Jets, Jets." And then he follows that up with Riley. The Pats are ass, dude. And then Josh B says, "Zach still stinks." And then, oh, you all right, Riley?
Yeah, I'm good.
And then
Just the Patriots.
Lonnie says, "Let's go." Good morning, gentlemen. Excited. I came in at the right time. Matt Ryan coming in hot, he says. Jets won, though. Giants stink. What a damn shame. How was your weekend, guys? Has Rev the company Rev DV. I had a great weekend at home. The fam bam. I'm sure Lonnie's gonna be hyped to hear. I spent it with my mother. And Derek says hi there. And then of course Jay Bird says hang up the phone. Zach Wilson needs to be benched. Matt Ryan says that again. And Lonnie's saying the game was in New York, not Kansas City. That's true, but they just beat Denver in Denver. So it's again, dude.
No, I think he just thought you said that like the game was in Kansas City. That Zach had a really.
Did
good
I
game.
say that?
It sounded like it. I knew what you meant, but technically speaking, like you portrayed that. Since we're going technicalities,
But
a lot to get to. Let's
Very
just
good, Tony.
go to the world of the National Football League.
Watch Jefferson climbs the ladder. Oh my goodness! Justin Jefferson, the catch of his life.
Burrow fires, intercepted, picked off at a pick six. Mako Fitzpatrick, an absolute ball hawk.
Niners twist up front and get to Tagovailoa. Bosa again. Mahomes escaping on the move, stops, spins, flips it forward for the touchdown.
Stop it.
Aaron Jones. Oh, what a tackle! Quincy Williams with a pile driver.
All right. So the Jets getting their first win since opening night against the Bills. This time in Denver against the Broncos, 31-21. And really sealing that game, near the end, I think, roughly 30 seconds left. Quincy Williams with that sack fumble of Russell Wilson, Sean Payton getting in his face, going all the way to give the Jets the 10-point victory. But backing up a step here.
Let's go, baby.
Just to give you an idea of how we got there. This was definitely a tight game.
Definitely.
The
Speaking of a tight one.
entire way. Really a defensive battle. Greg Zerloin in the first quarter, getting the Jets on the board, a 30-yard field goal to make it 3-0. Broncos were able to get, a somewhat extended drive, 6 plays, 75 yards. McLaughlin, the running back, looked very good. A lot of bursts early in this game, especially catching a 22-yard touchdown pass from Russ, making it 7-3 Broncos. But the Jets are able to get a safety with about 4.5 minutes left in the first quarter. Russell Wilson, intentional grounding in the end zone. So that made it 7-5. We had a lot of weird score combinations in this game.
Yeah,
Scoregami live. Will Lutz in the second, making it 10-5, a 23-yard field goal. Jets defense, once you get in the red zone, best in the NFL, and that showed off in this game. Zerloin also in the second, another field goal to make it 10-8. Lutz with just under 2 minutes left, a 22-yard field goal, to make it 13-8. And a very disappointing end of the first half for the Jets. They drive the ball down the field, and Matt Ryan was talking about this. I believe there was 13 seconds left. after Uzama caught a pass. So the Jets had no timeouts. They go, not sidelines, kind of mid between the middle of the field and the sideline. So Uzama stays in bounds. Not enough urgency on the part of the offensive line and Zach Wilson to get set. They try to spike it to get an easy chip shot field goal. We're unable to do that. That's just one of those things you can't have. And we kind of talked about it before. But just like how, step up in competition next week, that's an example of something end of half. So important. And they were fortunate that didn't come back to bite. Third quarter, though, Breece Hall, 72-yard touchdown run. First play from scrimmage there once the Jets got the ball back. And that was just impressive. And the burst that we've seen from Breece Hall, and I have to say, it is remarkable how he looks so soon, after that injury last year. It doesn't look like he's missed a beat. Anytime that line can give them an opening, he just hits the hole so hard. As a team, the Jets rushed for over 200 yards in this one. He himself rushed for almost 180 yards. So even on his other carries, he was still averaging almost 5 yards per carry. So Breece Hall, an absolute machine in the backfield. Jets defense does their job, gets the ball back and settles for a 27-yard field goal to make it 18-13. Zerloin again in the fourth quarter with 2 field goals, 22 yards out, 49 yards out. So a lot of the times, the Jets were able to get the ball deep into Denver territory, but just not able to finish out these drives. The only offensive touchdown they had was that Breece Hall run. And then Denver gets back into it late, after being down 24-13. Adam Troutman catches a 3-yard touchdown pass. And they also get a run in for a 2-point conversion to make it 24-21. The Broncos were driving the ball down the field somewhere near midfield. We mentioned about the Quincy Williams sack picked up by Breece Hall, who runs it 39 yards to the house. We talked about Peyton getting in Russ's face. That sealed the game for the Jets there. And that was on the heels of Zach throwing that interception there, going for the touchdown from about 30 yards out. Those 2 mistakes there, but unfortunately they don't come back to bite. And the Jets get their second victory here, 31-21. And, I mentioned the numbers, in terms of Zach here, 19-26, 199 yards, did have the interception, no touchdowns, was sacked 4 times, quarterback rating of 39.3. And then the overall rating of 78.8. Carrying the ball, Breece, like I said, 22 of 177. That's 8 yards a carry, including that 72-yard touchdown run. Zach took off a couple times, 3 scrambles for 26 yards. And Dalvin Cook, I guess, looked a little better. 6 carries, 23 yards, but still under 4 yards per carry. Tyler Conklin led the team in receiving, 4 receptions for 67 yards. Garrett Wilson also had 3 for 54 and Lazard 3 for 33. As far as the defense is concerned, Quincy Williams, not only did he have that sack fumble, he had another sack in 9 total tackles. CJ Mosley with 13 tackles. It was unfortunate. They had a couple injuries in this one. The biggest one, Elijah Vera Tucker, leaving the game. It was feared to be an Achilles. After listening to Rick and Dave this morning, seems like more of a calf injury. They're going to have an MRI today to confirm that. So it might be a matter of him missing a few weeks rather than the whole season, which is good news. Becton had to leave the game, but was able to get back in. So the Jets, dealing with a lot of injuries, but getting through it and getting a win here to really, for all intensive purposes, keeping the season alive. Obviously a tough game coming up at home against the Eagles this week, before their bye week and before the Jets and Giants game. So if somehow they were able to pull that one out, they would actually find themselves in a lot better standing than most people, did. And I think my overall takeaway from this is wins always deserve to be celebrated, especially on the road. That's for sure. And like I already alluded to, it's the hope here has to be, they go through all this tape and those things that can't happen, get cleaned up. And they're able to put their best foot forward next week, because I think it's just a completely different test. But they got some time to prepare, and it is one of those things. Just at some point, we all know it might take a little while longer. It remains to be seen. But the Jets are going to beat the Eagles. The Eagles also, history would tell us they're not going to go undefeated either. So they are due for a loss, but it's a tough matchup for sure. But Dave was even saying it, right before I got here on the radio. You gotta enjoy the win right now, and then as we get closer to next week, you start worrying about that. But what was your guys' impressions of this?
I don't want what's best for the Jets.
Wow, Brian,
See,
you said that, dude.
This sounds
That's
like
so messed up.
This sounds like RJ chopping up, some bite to make Dave look like an idiot. But anyway,
I can't believe you said that. But if you want to know what I thought anyway, listen, man. Obviously Zach Wilson had some mistakes. Start off with the mistakes, right?
Mm-hmm.
The second half, definitely, like going into the second half, I should say, at halftime, like the spike and everything.
Yeah,
just the lack of urgency.
Yeah.
I don't know. You really started off with the throw. Probably most quarterbacks maybe wouldn't have chosen.
Yeah, you gotta go
Conklin
out
over
of
the
bounds.
middle. You gotta go out of bounds. Yeah.
And then also too, it's like the offensive linemen were kind of just standing there, but at the same time, Zach being the quarterback should be like,
commands.
go,
Yeah,
we're gonna spike
exactly.
it. Like it has to be. There was no urgency there whatsoever.
It seemed like nobody's on the same page, and Zach Wilson is your on the field captain here, so it's like he's definitely held accountable there. But I think that's something that can be fixed. I still very much question how many situational run throughs they have gone through with Zach Wilson in practice, just because
2-minute drill. You got to practice the 2-minute drill.
I feel like it's been more about just getting his bearings, and getting more reps with the offense in just general regular play rather than doing situational stuff. And I think we're going to see improvements, as Zach Wilson practices more, plays more, whatnot. Because reports were leading up to the season where he was taking almost no snaps with the starters, like he was taking none. So, which is pretty interesting there. And then obviously the interception. You want to talk about that? Look, man. I understand, Breece Hall killed it.
Right.
Like great. Your running game was probably the only good thing that started off rip. Seemed like your offensive line did pretty well in terms of run blocking.
Backups.
Yeah.
I was so impressed by that. I thought they would get run over from the defensive line.
I know. So, honestly, I think Rick and Dave mentioned it after the Kansas City game.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, is that my phone? Yeah, we can just mute that. Bang. Rick and Dave said it before. It just seems like that these offensive linemen just do better at run blocking besides pass blocking, which makes sense. The whole, you're moving forward with your running blocks, but so obviously that's why they were more inclined to run.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's why Zach Wilson didn't have a lot of opportunities to pass the ball, or as many as he did against the Chiefs, because they knew Hall could run. He was running downhill the whole game. But that series that ended in Wilson's interception, I thought was some poor play calling by Hackett. Because if you remember that series, it starts off with a 30-yard reception with Conklin.
Mm-hmm.
Phenomenal throw by Wilson.
Right.
They moved down the field. They were up by 3.
They were up by 3.
They were up by 3 with 2.5 minutes to go.
27-yard line.
Yeah, 27-yard line.
3rd and 5.
Hackett decides to run the ball twice, run the clock down. Hopefully he picks up some yardage. But he ran 2 running plays and got 4 yards, and you put Zach Wilson in a tough position of 3rd and 6. You have to make a throw, you have to make a throw. They decided to even be aggressive with him. They did it, ended up an interception. I feel like they should have followed up that Conklin reception with another passing play. They should have had, that was Wilson's drive. He had, started off so hot, and then you, bring his momentum to a screeching halt by 2 running plays that you run back to back that didn't do anything, And again, I understand, your running game was working well for you, so that's probably why, but it just seemed like Hackett was playing a conservative game in trying to run the ball, run the clock out, and then put Zach Wilson in a pressured situation, which didn't really need to happen. And then he threw the interception because of it. I think, yes, poor execution by Wilson. Anyone could tell you that. But it was also, I think, a poor setup with Hackett. That's my take on that. Overall, you got to be happy with the way the defense played. We were talking about it leading up to Sunday, how Denver can score. Wilson has had some tremendous numbers so far. They did a phenomenal job with keeping him under pressure. The secondary, dude, So many times Wilson was holding the ball too long because there was nobody open.
Right.
You know?
Right. And then you got backups in the secondary
Exactly, dude. So it's crazy to see the depth that the Jets have on defense. You know, anyone would tell you that's going to be a huge key to victory for them. I do think Wilson is going to continue to improve. I mean, he had bright spots. He had some lulls for sure. But everyone does. I mean, your special teams had some lulls too. Frickin' Gibson had that fumble, which was a terrible.
Oh, yeah.
So tough. But again, he's a rookie. They talked about that too. He made the adjustment. The next punt, he ends up stepping up and trying to, you know,
Get a good return.
Get a better return. So, I mean, you know, he definitely made adjustments there. Everyone had made adjustments, and I think it was a huge win. You know, you said it too all week. I mean, a win in Denver too. First time Wilson has played in Denver, I believe, right?
We
The
first.
altitude.
Wait, I don't know. What do you mean? Oh, Zach Wilson. I'm just thinking
no,
you're talking
sorry,
about Russell
Zach
Wilson.
Wilson. Yeah, sorry.
I believe so.
First time he played in Denver too. I mean, that's not easy. You know, we talked about the altitude, everything. It makes a difference. So I think that's a huge win for the Jets here. Really saved their season. And of course, I know how Matt Ryan feels about it. But for him to come in here, by the way, and I say could have been 3-2 or 4-1 with a competent QB. I question that, dude. Because, you know,
Could have been 3-2 though.
it could have been 3-2, but you know what? You'll get it historically. Doesn't matter the quarterback. The Jets still lose the Patriots. So, I mean, can you really knock him? Maybe, but again, statistically,
this year I think is just different. Just because we saw it
this year is not. I'm just every year it seems.
No, but I'm saying of how bad the Patriots are. Obviously,
Oh,
we
yes,
saw that
yes,
yesterday.
true. But
any
again,
team should be able to beat them at this
seems
point.
like any Jets quarterback loses to that team. So I knocked that off, and then again, the other loss to the Chiefs. Like Aaron Rodgers could have been starting and not have won this game. Like it was a matchup that they had set up to be very competitive and everything. And Zach Wilson's the one who made it competitive. So you can eat my dust, Matthew Ryan. By the way, Matt Ryan on the call last night.
Yeah.
So annoying, dude.
Really?
Or yesterday. I forget what game he was calling. It wasn't the primetime game.
Okay. He works for CBS.
Was it? Maybe
I don't know if it wasn't the Jets.
Was it?
No, because
No.
Tiki
It
was
might have
with
been.
the Jets with Andrew
Oh,
Catalon.
no, it was Tiki.
It
It was Tiki, Matt Ryan.
Andrew Catalon.
Of course,
Yeah.
Matt Ryan.
No, but
dude.
Tiki looks so ripped in
He
the
does,
broadcast.
dude. He really does.
He's so shot.
Unbelievable. And there's a ton of comments here. I'm not sure, honestly, who said what for what. And all right, let's see. Let's go back. Okay, Zach Wilson, hot trash. Matthew Ryan, how has he seen growth? No growth, he says. Well, they got to win in Denver, first time ever for Zach Wilson. So that's growth right there, Matthew. First time win ever in Denver. Growth.
Fuck out of here.
Thank you very much. We did that already. Matthew, hey, boss.
Hey, balls.
Mr. Wilson, Zach, not Russ. Matt Ryan going on and on. Don't have a QB, Matt Ryan. Matthew Gabriel, Zach, can we start warming the bench, dude? Lonnie says, good to hear you are listening, Brian.
Because I was talking about
Rick
what
and Dave.
Rick and Dave were saying. And
Why
I,
does he get a little tight? You know?
No.
I know he gets tight when you say.
No, because
I
remember
went to
Rick's
the
off.
fan. Rick's off. Oh yeah, Rick's off. Rick's off. I listen to the fan commercials.
No, but I have to say that it's tough. Like I do switch over for commercials, but it's honestly a tough listen at this point. I mean, nothing comes close to ESPN Radio.
Tiki
I'll
and
tell you
Tini?
that much. Oh no, Tiki's with
Tiki.
Carton. I'm not Carton, but Evan. At this point, which is a terrible show.
Mike says, "Wow, Barnes, can't believe you said that."
I
What'd
want
you
to
say?
know what. No, it was the
I
bite.
don't
said
want
Oh,
what's best for the Jets.
and you even
Yeah.
slowly said
No,
it. Like,
but I would love to hear what I said after.
He really meant it.
I think we
I-
had a big laugh after that.
No,
Because
but
we were
I-
like, why would he say that?
Yeah.
no, but it's. I would love to hear the full thing.
No,
'cause I'm
you
sure
were
it
you were
made
talking
sense.
about how there's a connotation that you don't want what's best for the Jets.
Oh,
That's
so
what
you
you were
just
saying.
took away the first part.
Yeah,
which,
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
So
basically.
out of context, sounds like you don't want what's best for the Jets.
Oh, my God.
And then Matt Ryan going on again. That's why we have to bench Zach. He's not a QB. Bad, awful. You're bad, awful. He says, at Michael Theophil, where's my apology? If you're the Michael from the show, I want an apology. Zach is awful. He is the Michael from the show. You're getting no apology because you're what, dude?
You know what you're gonna hear?
Yeah.
Quack, quack.
Yeah. Zach, quack, quack. He says, don't blame Hackett. I can blame Hackett. That was Zach's fault. Tony, well, the interception, yes, poor execution. Yeah, I was just giving some context, okay? Lion says, Matt Ryan is the spicy I like. Wow.
Yeah, I
Yanni,
mean, it's
dude.
it's some pushback.
Yanni
likes that
It's
spice.
definitely good. It's definitely
Makes
good.
the show fun. And then Matthew says, at Lonnie, I'm here.
I am a
Oh,
Zach
I'm a Zach
Wilson hater.
Alani says Matt Ryan on the broadcast wasn't that bad to me. It was all right, I guess. My Uncle Richie, dude.
Wow, it's
from
been
the
a
woodworks.
long time.
He says we got lucky in the win. Luck, there's no such thing as luck, Uncle Richie. You know that. And then Lonnie says, listen, at my Matt Ryan, it's all good to me. I like the spicy stuff. Again, Ryan Q, Zach Wilson so bad. Ryan McNeil says Zach Wilson legit might be better than Mac Jones. He absolutely is. Mac Jones is absolutely does not belong in the NFL, dude.
Yeah.
Well,
yeah, no, I mean it's been pretty bad for him. I wish I was there with Adam.
Oh no, he was there with Adam. Adam's my cousin.
Oh, he was in
son.
Denver?
Yeah, I guess so. Because
wow.
my cousin is over there.
Oh, I gotcha.
So that's pretty. How was the altitude, Uncle Richie? Did you have trouble breathing?
Yeah. I can't wait to put that to the test. I guess it'll be a struggle.
Wait, so you've just been saying that and you don't really know?
Oh, I'm saying I haven't been to Denver. Just because everybody talks about it. But I think basketball, I could see being more of a struggle.
He says none, no issue.
Oh, good,
Yeah.
good. To win against Philly, you have to bench Zach no matter what. That's what Matthew Ryan says.
Brian, what do you think about that? Honestly.
No, I mean, I think you know what the problem is at this point. You just like Simeon. Yes, Simeon. It doesn't make sense, and I guess he's been with the team for a couple weeks. At this point, you got to go with what you have. But I think there has to be legitimate concern that the mistakes that you made in this game, if you do that against Philadelphia, that could be like the Giants game against Miami yesterday. It's like you can't fail to get 3 at the end of the half, and you certainly can't throw an interception. Jalen Hurts scores the touchdown there. He's not Russell Wilson. He's not fumbling the ball.
Yeah, probably not.
So you're not going to be able to get away with those things. I think that's the concern I would have. And like I said, I don't think you're going to be able to run the ball down their throat like you did in this game either.
I just don't think you know what you have in Simeon at all. At least with Zach Wilson, you know what you have. You know what his ceiling is. Like, you know what he can do. You know what plays. What did Jets fans know about Trevor Simeon? What is one thing they know?
That he broke his leg, I think, against the Broncos, actually, a couple years ago on Monday Night Football, I believe.
So we're going to
Thursday Night Football, one or the other.
You're going to play him against the best team in the league. Well, Niners maybe, but one of the best teams in the league. You know nothing about this guy. You're going to play him. It just doesn't make any sense to me.
Yeah, I don't think because it's like he's been on the practice squad. Has he gotten full practices? I don't know.
Who knows? No one knows.
Nobody knows.
And I think that where I'm at too, I think before the last 2 games, I honestly did not even think like of what like Zach did yesterday that he could, even do that. I think I'm growing on the fact that he can, manage the game and that we can have a really strong running game. That's where I'm at. Cause like I said, those things got to be cleaned up. The fumble last week, those are the type of things. And I have to say, and I know everybody, and I'm sure and I know I don't want to speak for you, Tony, but I'm saying like when there was the interception there, I know I was saying they're going to lose the game. Like that's how I felt. Cause it was just too typical. And for the defense to step up and make that play was just so big. I mean, it's just, honestly, you can't do that.
My first thought was they're going to win this game, but then Matt Ryan and Brian Barnaby are going to focus on this interception the whole show tomorrow. That's what my thought was.
No, because I think we could all be level-headed. And it's just like the last 2 weeks. No, but in all seriousness, I know there's been a lot of discussion and everything, but I think we could all be level-headed to say, like, for instance, yesterday, there's nothing that Zach like deserves to be praised for. Just most of the game, he did what he was supposed to do. They leaned on the running game and he made some throws. And like, we haven't seen really that much at all. So like, that is a positive thing. It's just like because we're not going to pass for 400 yards, the margin for error is very small and we can't turn over the football or waste scoring opportunities.
No, I totally agree. And honestly, dude, I stand by the fact that like they have to get better at play calling. I think it took them until the 3rd quarter to run a play action.
Yeah, the play action is good. The motion.
Yeah, they have to do that from the get-go. You would imagine going into Philadelphia. Are we in Philly?
No.
We're at home.
It's crazy, though. The back half of the schedule, I don't think it's as tough competition-wise, but it's going to be all on the road. 4 of 6 to start the season at home.
Yeah, it's crazy. But they have to, like, you would imagine the Eagles are anticipating the run probably immediately. So, like, run some of play action. Like you said, you're probably not going to be able to run as much against the Eagles.
I think they'll be lucky to rush for 100 yards.
You need I think, like, again, like play calling is going to be incredibly important against the Eagles. You need to let Zach Wilson have as many chances at throwing the ball as he did against Kansas City. Like, you need to do that. It can't be like throw one pass, run the ball, and then on third down try and figure it out. Like, that can't happen.
Yeah.
Like, I want first down passing plays. Like,
Yeah.
I want to see that aggressiveness.
Right.
Out of Hackett specifically. He has to call those plays.
Yeah. And then obviously, Zach has to read him, and it seems like he's developed somewhat of a rapport with Tyler Conklin. We know he did him in on that touchdown the week before, but he did have a couple big catches yesterday. So it seems like that's becoming like a safety valve.
Yeah.
For
Using
him.
your tight ends. Like, let's go. That's awesome, dude.
And obviously, so yeah, it's going to be, that defensive front that Philadelphia has, they're physical, they're aggressive. That's going to be tough. It's going to be tough to run the football, but from a defensive side of the football too, I'm just like, and I know, obviously he did a lot of the, the tush push or whatever, brotherly shove, whatever you want to call it yesterday. But cause it's happened with past Jets teams before. I'm just worried, like it's going to be every time 3rd and 3, 3rd and 4, and he's just going to run to the outside and they're not going to cover him.
Yeah.
They've always struggled with running quarterbacks.
Listen, even like there was a few times what Wilson took off and he got like 15 yards. And we saw the same thing happen against Mahomes. Like, they have to fix that too. Like, what's the defense doing, Salah?
What's Oldbridge have to say about that?
Exactly. Like, come on, dude. You have to have some type of spy for the QB. Like, and why not? Like, I don't like, get one of your linebackers to do it, dude. Like Mosley's been making a lot of tackles. Like, they have the capabilities. Those linebackers. I understand they're great when they drop back too. It's a big reason why you don't have a lot of options to pass as Russell Wilson did this past weekend. But it's just like, you got to figure out something with that because you're getting like 3 weekends, like 3 games of quarterbacks that can move. It's you have to figure it out. This is the 3rd time now,
Yeah, absolutely. And right now, just kind of looking ahead here, Philly is 6.5 point road favorites at MetLife, 425 game again. So we get the late window, and the total set at 42.5. And obviously, big look ahead spot. We'll see what happens with the injuries. You'd imagine Vera Tucker's not gonna make it back for this game. You'd hope you'd have DJ Reed back. And then Carl Lawson was a surprise inactive. Maybe they get him in the pass rush rotation. But what are your expectations? Like, I know, like later in the week we'll talk more about this game, but do you give them a really good chance or even like expecting them to win, which obviously sounds a little crazy, but what are you really expecting just early on here, thinking about it?
Again, like my mind goes back to the game against Kansas City. I think your special teams, your defense, Zach, your entire team is going to give yourself a good chance to be competitive in this game. I think that the Eagles are going to be a little surprised on how hard it is going to be to move the ball down the field because of Jets defense. And I would like to think that Zach Wilson gets a lot of opportunities throwing the ball.
Yeah, no, and I think even though I believe in this defense, I know they're really good. Philly, I think, is easily going to put up like high 20s, like low 30s in points. And Devonta Smith had 1 catch this game. I would not be surprised if he has 15 receptions. Like, and the thing is, like, you can't just all focus your attention on him because AJ Brown is unbelievable. Every time he gets the ball, this is going to be a very tough matchup. Could be a season changer though. And it's something big for the franchise to be able to beat them for the first time. But you have to play a perfect game. Everything has to be buttoned up. There can't be any stupid penalties or not taking advantage of opportunities. So it's going to be a battle, but you have to be excited about the opportunity.
Yeah, kind of what you said about has to be a perfect game. The reason that Kansas City game was close, the reason they played well, outside of the fumble, Zach didn't throw any interception. Didn't turn the ball over until that point. Like, that's why the game was close. And you saw yesterday, I thought Zach didn't play awful, but he did turn the ball over a little bit, and that's what made it close with Denver. So, going into this game it's a whole different – Denver and the Eagles are completely, like, exact opposites. Like, this team just beat the Rams yesterday. This is a fantastic football team. You cannot turn the ball over. You just can't. The minute they do, the minute this turns into a 14-point game, that's when you're going to
forget about it.
You got to keep this game close. You have to.
Forget about it.
And I just wanted to see here. What? Oh, this is gonna. I guess. Okay. I don't know why. I was thinking that what's his name? Joe Davis was calling this one of the late Fox games, and I was like, actually was like, oh my God, like this is like way too much. No. So the guy I was thinking of was Brandon Gowden. He was doing the Houston Atlanta game. I don't know if you heard it all from Red Zone. I don't think I've ever heard a more annoying announcer in my life. Like every time it's like, and it's in the end zone for a touchdown. Like, and just like, are you actually serious? Can we try to look that up? Brandon, it's Gaudin. It's a Houston Atlanta game. I don't know if they have like highlights from it, but it was the most. I don't know why I was thinking it was Joe Davis, but it was the most ridiculous calls I've
Joe
ever
Davis.
heard. Yeah, no, so that it wasn't him because I always think he does a good job. Yeah, that's why. Like how Buck used to.
He usually does the late Fox games, though. I think.
Is it this guy? Is this the guy?
I have to hear it. Okay. No. It'd be the guy on the right, not the left. Yeah, that's Schlereth. Let's see. Yeah,
very nasally.
Yes. Oh, I wish there was something that would show like the calls.
Wait, go to the highlight maybe.
No, and he's like, wait. Or
it's just Falcons, Texans.
Yeah, unless it was Kevin Kugler. You know what? It might have been Kevin Kugler.
You're all right, 17
hours. I just want to hear it.
Oh, that's the dude from Madden, I think.
We need go to like a touchdown.
This is the voice of Madden, if I'm almost sure.
Let's see a touchdown show. Oh, there we go.
No. It's okay. I need to.
You're losing it.
No, because I just need to know who this is. It's just bothering me.
Who is this?
Hold on. I gotta. Yes. Kevin Kugler. It literally, it's the most like dramatic call every single time. Kevin, just search Kevin Kugler touchdowns.
Kugler? Is that how you?
K.
Was it K? Oh,
yeah.
Wow.
Okay. Yes, please. Like I want the full montage, Tony. No, tell me that's not like. Keep going. Let's hear another one. Right or no? It's like it's too much or no?
I don't know, man. I need a big call. Yeah, it was with this. Here we go.
This is gonna be it.
Really from the P on Shepherd, yeah.
Tannehill. Nice.
I feel like now you're saying you're a Kevin Kugler
No,
fan.
I could care less about him.
No, but does it sound ridiculous or not?
I mean,
I wish you heard yesterday. I swear it was like Hollywood Brown, like and it's like in for the touchdown.
Really?
Like it just I don't know. It was like really bugging me. I'm not gonna lie.
Wani says this is a lot of dead air.
I don't know because we were looking at the like trying to find the call.
Yeah, maybe. I don't know. It's weird.
And Matthew Ryan says he hates Kevin Kugler as much as he hates Joe Buck. The way he talks, you would think this was my burner account. Honestly,
I do.
Supporting everything that I say.
I do think so. What are you doing behind there? What are you doing behind there? Yeah.
Matt, who do you like is the question, not Zach Wilson. Oh, man, that's funny stuff. But yeah, I did want to run over. We said how the company did go 3-0 yesterday, so now we are back in the hole. Just because they hit with the Jets, they hit with the Chiefs, they hit with the Dolphins. We lost with the Rams, lost with the Bills, and then hit with the 49ers. So it's 8-4 versus 7-4-1. So obviously, long way to go. And it's going to be a competitive the rest of the way. So kind of running down the games here. The first game of the day was in London. Jags second week in a row. Get the W over there, 25-20 over the Bills, who had come in one of the hottest offenses in the league and really struggled. Were at danger of getting shut out in the first half, but they did get a late touchdown. And it would be nice to hear Kevin Kugler with the call on that touchdown if we could, Tony. No, I'm just kidding. But yeah, touchdown to Diggs, 15 yards. So Jags went into the half up 11-7. Travis Etienne had almost 130 yards on the ground. He was all over the place. He had a 6-yard touchdown in the fourth quarter after a scoreless third that capped off a 10-play, 93-yard drive to make it 18-7. Gabe Davis did catch a 19-yard touchdown from Allen. They failed on the 2, so it was 18-13. And then Travis Etienne, 35-yard run, the backbreaker, 25-13. Allen scored a 3-yard touchdown run to make it 25-20, but the Bills unable to do anything else and drop this game 25-20.
Good for the Jags.
Now going into this, we thought Bills, especially what they did to Miami last week, arguably the best team in the AFC, right there with the Chiefs. Does this change anything for you guys? I mean, obviously it's always tough going overseas, and the Jags had the advantage being over there for the week.
Yeah, I think that was a huge advantage, honestly, and I think it really showed during the game.
Yep.
When do you think the Bills got there?
I saw
Thursday.
Oh, okay. I would have thought they
heard
got there
Friday.
even earlier.
Yeah,
that's
what I'm saying. I'm saying Thursday's kind of late, dude, because you're thinking you get there, you have maybe you get there Thursday afternoon or something, or Thursday morning, you get the day to rest, whatever. Friday practice, Saturday walkthrough, Sunday game. But I don't know. That's not really enough, dude. I mean, plus people you go. So I'm sure some guys are their first time in England, first time in London.
Right?
They're probably all riled. Focus is not there. If I was the Bills, I would have went there on Tuesday, dude. But needless to say, I mean, obviously, the Jaguars, I think, proved themselves a lot here. Etienne looked great. Obviously, Trevor Lawrence looked great too. Damn, who the hell is that receiver?
Zay Jones?
That
catch was unbelievable.
Yeah,
that was a really good catch.
So, I mean, I think that they showed a lot of talent there. I really would be interested to see how this game would have played out in the States. I really do.
I have a tough time believing that the Bills wouldn't win if this was at home.
Honestly. Honestly, the Bills Mafia is fucking crazy. But there were a lot of Bills fans.
It
seemed mostly blue over there in London anyway.
But just I don't know, just something from I think it's intimidating to play in that building for an opposing team. Yeah.
I think the biggest thing to come out of this game was the Bills defense is totally beat up now. I mean, they went into the game losing 3 starters, and it was in London. That's why I thought maybe the Jags had a chance in this game. Then you lose Matt Milano. You lose another. I think it lost another guy.
Johnson was injured and he came back in. So they had already lost Tre'Davious White.
5 guys banged up on their defense now. I don't think this. Their offense is going to be great when they're still one of the best teams in the AFC. But the losses to their defense definitely hurt them now, and we're going against some of the better teams in the NFL. And I also think it proves something for the Jags, too. Like I said, I think the Jags are going to be a good team. I think this might flip their season around. They're going to come back to the States off 2 wins. And they have a great offense, too. So I think it proves more for the Jags. The Bills are still going to be a great team. Just those defensive losses are definitely going to hurt them.
And I think, we talk about a get-right spot. Sunday Night Football next week. Giants and Bills.
Wow, dude.
That could get ugly quick.
The Battle of New York.
I believe is Jacksonville on
this could get ugly quick.
I'm just gonna check.
Let's check it out
thought
here, dude.
For some reason they were. Maybe they're not. Let's see. So they actually play the Colts. Okay. So that's always a competitive game.
Gardner Minshew.
They were able to beat them week 1, 31-21. Speaking of Minshew, yesterday he came off the bench again. Anthony Richardson with his 3rd injury of the season.
So
he might miss up to a month with an AC joint. We saw Carr come back the next week, so there is some optimism there. But Minshew didn't miss a beat. 11 of 14 through the air in relief of Richardson, 155 yards. Didn't turn it over or get sacked. 89 quarterback rating. That's really good. But the story of the day for the Colts was on the ground. Zach Moss, in a game that featured Derrick Henry and Jonathan Taylor, Zach Moss stood out as the best running back in this game. 23 for 165, 2 scores, 56-yard run. Jonathan Taylor, first games of the season, only had 6 carries for 18 yards after signing that extension, 3 years, $42 million. So it'll be interesting to see, especially with Richardson out, that they really focus on this run game. I'd imagine Jonathan Taylor gets a lot more carries, moving forward. But Zach Moss just doesn't want to give up a hold on this job. And it's kind of interesting.
Crazy.
I thought he was terrible in Buffalo. But he goes to the Colts. Shane Steichen, the first-year head coach who was the offensive coordinator in Philadelphia, looks like he's doing a good job. And it's kind of weird to say. You wouldn't think this with a backup quarterback, but I mean, I feel like the Colts moving forward are in this for this division, whether Richardson's healthy or not. Minshew knows that system from being in Philadelphia with Steichen there. So I think the Colts could be one of those surprise teams. They got a lot of talented skill players, Moss, Taylor, Michael Pittman. What do you guys think? You think the Colts have a pretty good shot here to make the playoffs?
I do think so. Jonathan Taylor, too, I feel like was pretty highly touted coming into this season. No?
Oh, yeah. I mean, you look at his numbers a couple years ago, was banged up last year, but they gave him a $42 million extension for a reason.
So, I mean, I feel like having that 1-2 punch, too, at running back, rather, I mean, that's a huge part of your game, especially if you do have, if you're playing Gardner Minshew, who is a veteran quarterback, he knows how to play the game. He's been around the block, and he can also be a threat either running or through the air, to have that running game. So if you play action, stuff like that, you can start getting really creative with Minshew at quarterback. But I don't know, man. I think their game against the Jaguars is going to be kind of like a season turning game. I mean, they're tied right now, right, in their division.
Yeah, so that'll be for the division lead.
Yeah, so I mean that's gonna be pretty intense, and it's gonna show. It's gonna tell who's top dog in the division too. So, I think they have certainly have their work cut out for them, but I think they'll keep it competitive. That's for sure, dude. Right?
They give me a big pesky vibe. They're not gonna get blown out. They're gonna play every team hard. And we saw that yesterday. Yeah,
it's all about playing them hard.
And it's interesting too. Hard. We know the Colts. Were able to beat Jacksonville week 1.
God, Matt Ryan, dude.
I was just gonna say, typically though, the Colts for whatever reason give Jacksonville, or I guess it's the other way. Yeah, Jacksonville usually gives the Colts a lot of trouble.
Yeah.
We saw them not be able to make the playoffs. With Wentz at the end of the year a couple years ago, losing that game in Jacksonville. But what do you guys think, moving forward? I mean, do you think Jacksonville's a lot better than Indianapolis, or do you think it's going to be kind of down to the wire between them two?
I don't think it's relatively close, to be honest. Colts have good pieces. I love Michael Pittman. I think he's a great wide receiver.
He could be a stud.
But when you really go down to the Jaguars offense, Trevor Lawrence is a really good quarterback. He proved that. He was threw for 300 yards. They couldn't cash in that many times, only 1 touchdown. But the throws he was making, even some drops, were insane. Then you go to ETN in the backfield. You got Christian Kirk and Calvin Ridley on the outside with Zay Jones, I believe, right?
Yeah.
That's a great 1-2-3. I think offensively they're better. I think maybe you can make the argument that the Colts have a better defense, maybe.
You have guys like
DeForest Buckner, Kwity Paye, some talent in that defense. So, but I think if it ever came down to a shootout, the Jags offense is much better, but good thing we're going to see this week. We'll see.
Yeah, dude. I think I agree. On paper, I think the Jaguars are better, but again, I just feel like I could see the Jaguars letting the Colts hang around in a game, and the Colts ultimately, taking the W from them sneakily. I feel like the Jags sometimes struggle to score. Like you mentioned, I feel like for 2 quarters, right? They scored. They ended the game great against Buffalo, and they started off.
The red zone was awful,
but it's second and third quarters they were nowhere to be found in terms of scoring. So it's you're gonna need to start scoring consistently. At least to do that, because a team, where I was saying, a pesky team at the Colts, if you keep them hanging around in a game, they could steal one from you. So we'll see though.
And then we had one of the better rivalries in the NFL, the Steelers and the Ravens, a game that came down to the wire. And, you really, Baltimore, first half specifically, dominating this game, but not able to put a ton on the scoreboard. We know that defensive front for Pittsburgh is good. The secondary is a question, but the Ravens just haven't proven that they can really pass the ball with any efficiency. They're down at running back, too, after losing Dobbins for the season.
They blow it in the end of the game. They always do.
So they went into the half, 10-3 lead. Boswell with that 43-yarder before the end of the half there. But then Pittsburgh's Pittsburgh's defense, pitches the shutout in the second half. Miles
Crazy.
Killebrew with the safety there early in the fourth quarter made it 10-5. Boswell was able to add a 25-yarder to make it 10-8. And then really the big blow, the 41-yard pass from Pickens to Pickens.
The big blow.
Made it 14-10. Steelers were trying to run out the clock. There was a penalty. They were forced into kicking a field goal, which made it 17-10, which was the margin of victory here for Pittsburgh. So a lot of questions about, can they run the ball with efficiency enough? Is Pickett any good? One thing that you could say is their defense, especially that front, is really good. They had 4 sacks to Lamar Jackson, got that interception. But George Pickens is an absolute star. 6 catches, 130 yards in that score. If they could figure out to run the ball with that defense, I think they could be pretty good. And I have to say, I believe in them for the rest of the year more than I do the Baltimore Ravens.
Yeah.
Even though their offense is sketchy. I get that.
Yeah. I mean, Lamar, I thought Lamar didn't play that bad. I thought there were some crazy drops by the Ravens. Zay Flowers hasn't been kind of what you thought he'd be. A lot of drops, like wide open drops. But I'll tell you what, you will not find a team that leans on their defense more than that Steelers team. They lead the Browns game a couple weeks ago. I mean, they almost have more defensive touchdowns than the Patriots have offensive touchdowns.
Right.
But they do have a guy though. Like they have a guy like George Pickens. Like that's something I always say to the Patriots. Like we don't have a guy right now, and we drafted before, and we took Tyquan Thornton before they took George Pickens. So that is insane. But they have Pickens. The Pickett-Pickens connection seems like there could be something there in the future. And then there's something to be excited about if you're a Steelers fan. And I would agree with you. I think the Steelers are on a better track than the Ravens right now, especially with the injuries the Ravens are dealing with.
Yeah, I was never really hot on the Ravens to begin with. I mean, I've been saying it since last season. They've been blowing leads in the fourth quarter so many times, struggling to put teams away. And then honestly, look at Jackson's numbers.
Yeah,
I mean, 22 of 38, 236.
The pick obviously killed them at the end of the game in the red zone.
I mean, I would take Zach Wilson any day of the week over that, dude.
Oh, come on. Oh, no.
No, but it just, I don't know what it is. I don't know. It just seems like he can't get that consistency that he once had. So we'll have to see what happens. We had an exciting game between the Falcons and the Texans go down to the wire. Younghoe Koo with the game-winning field goal to make it 21-19 in favor of Atlanta. And going into this game, we mentioned a lot. They got to get the run game going. Ritter's starting to throw, and he had the best game of his career. 28 of 37, a touchdown, no picks, wasn't sacked, had a QBR of 81. Finally got Kyle Pitts involved. He had 7 catches for 87 yards. Also found Drake London, 6 catches, 78 yards. He had this ridiculous catch early in the second half. He was all amped up about. So the second-year wide receiver from USC paying dividends, and they also got the other tight end involved, Jonnu Smith, 6 receptions, 67 yards, and they did this while only averaging 2.7 yards a carry. So that was obviously impressive stuff there. CJ Stroud still hasn't turned the ball over though. So while the Texans, it was disappointing to lose this one, it seems like they found a future star in CJ Stroud, and it almost was a blessing in disguise that they won that game late in the year to get the second overall pick, because we've seen what Bryce Young has done in Carolina, and it's not pretty.
Yeah, no, that's true.
But it'll be interesting to see. I mean, that division, I think is going to go on the wire with the Falcons. I think the Texans, while competitive, aren't going to win the division, but I think the Falcons have a really good shot. It just depends on Ritter continuing to develop. Because if you can, pass the ball, you could do. Yeah, exactly. What's Baker going to do, Tony? That's always a big question. How impressed are we with the Lions? 42-24. We talked about Carolina. Jared Goff, 20 of 28, 3 touchdowns. Also had a rushing touchdown. Did this without St. Brown, who was nursing an injury. Sam Laporta, the rookie tight end from Iowa. Iowa, also known as tight end U. 2 touchdowns here, 3 receptions, 47 yards. Josh Reynolds, 4 for 76. David Montgomery, another 100-yard rushing game. 19 for 109. Oh, wow. And this defense was all over Bryce Young, picked him off twice, and then did have a sack. Adam Thielen, though, kind of fountain of youth, 11 for 107, but not enough here. Carolina looks like they might have the number 1 pick again. Now Bryce Young did play better, but the two picks, unacceptable. How good do we think Detroit is though here? 4-1 now.
I mean, hey man, they're continuing to prove themselves week in and week out. So I mean, they're good. They're very good, dude. Also, Bryce Young. I would take Zach Wilson any day of the week over that, dude.
Everything has to be compared to Zach Wilson.
No, because that's what Matthew Ryan is saying. After literally Evan Pickett,
no, I'm not
Mac
Barnes.
Jones, dude.
I don't think anybody's concerned that you're me. Oh, that's funny.
Oh, that's so funny. It is right. So yeah, dude, I would say give me the Lions. They're serious. I mean, the Panthers
Very
do
good.
suck, dude. They're 0-5. That's right. They're only winless team. I think
Only
left,
winless
right?
team in the NFL.
Dude, like, did they get fleeced for McCaffrey? Like, what did they get for Christian McCaffrey?
Picks.
Yeah, picks, which they probably misused.
Just blow it, dude.
Yeah.
Absolutely blew. They need.
But you know what the
Like,
problem,
oh.
and obviously hindsight's 2020. If you see his performance now, maybe you could have got more. But the fact that he was the highest paid running back in the NFL, coming off
Unbelievable,
injuries,
dude.
you know, you're not going to be able to get much for a running back as it is. But I want to say it was like a second round pick.
Yeah.
What do we got there, Riley,
got,
on the case?
They got a 2023 second round pick that they used on a tight end. They got a 2023 third round pick that they used on another tight end. They got a 2023 132 overall pick that they used on an edge rusher, and they have a 2024 fifth round pick.
Yeah, so
That's it.
Like, what do we do?
tough.
Dude?
But you
Who
know,
are
trade
these
value
people
for
too,
running
dude?
backs
Like,
it's tough. You're just
Yeah.
not going to get a lot on the open market.
Well, especially with him. I mean, he had his injury concerns too.
That's
so
right.
They weren't gonna. I don't know. They weren't gonna give a first round or anything for him.
I mean, knock on wood, dude, that he's looking pretty healthy and good right now.
Yeah, it's great for my fantasy team.
Now we were talking a lot about the NFC South here. The Saints, you know, we talked about this quickly in the open, 34-0 over the Patriots, who have now been outscored 69-3 the last two games. Derek Carr in this one, 18-26,
bud.
2 touchdowns, and you know, 1 to Olave, 1 to Foster Moreau. Alvin Kamara, 22 of 80 on the ground for a score as well. Do we make anything of this for New Orleans that, you know, they're a pretty good team, you know, the defense able to force those 2 interceptions and also have 2 sacks, or is it just kind of feasting on the Patriots here?
Well, I think their defense has always been good.
Yeah.
And New Orleans defense, even going into the year.
Renee in the building.
What's up?
What's up?
What's up?
Steelers.
What's up, dude?
Steelers.
Steelers.
Good win.
Steelers Nation.
Did you watch?
I didn't watch. Actually, I was more caught up in the Jets game.
Oh, the Jets.
Wow, Zach Wilson.
Yeah, exact, quack, quack.
She said Zach.
Oh.
Yesterday, obviously.
Yeah.
Like, talking about the Jets.
It was a great win. It was a great win.
Steelers,
Go Jets.
Sunday.
Yeah, there we go. There we go. So yeah, but Riley, you were kind of saying,
Their defense has always been really good. The
Mhm.
Saints, I mean, their offense showed me nothing, to be honest. I don't care if they put up 34. You
Yeah.
put it, defense is awful right now. I don't want to make the excuse. There really isn't any excuse, but I mean, we lose Judon, we lose Christian Gonzalez. Our defense is beat up. What I took from this game was absolutely nothing. I took absolutely nothing from this game except that Mac Jones sucks. He's a baby giraffe in the pocket. He has the arm strength of a 3-year-old. And I'm about done with him. Actually, I am done with him. And I'm full in to tank for Caleb Williams or
Wow.
Riley Leonard. I don't care if we lose every single game out. I hope we do. I hope we get the first overall pick. I hope Bill's out. I hope Bill's out
Wow.
after this year. I hope Bill is out after this year. I hope we bring in one of those young offensive-minded guys that you,
Emphasis on the young.
you didn't even know played
maybe you bring
football.
Lincoln Riley over
You
from
bring
USC.
anyone. Yeah, bring anyone over. That'd be great.
Yeah.
Get the offense going. Get some pizzazz. We have no pizzazz. It just feels like a bunch of old dudes running around there trying to play football.
Yeah,
And I'm sick of it.
dude.
So let's get some pizzazz into New England. Let's get Bill out. Let's lose every game the rest of this year, and let's get Caleb Williams.
Yeah. No, I think that's a solid plan.
Solid plan.
The only other 1:00 game from yesterday, we saw the New York Giants go down to the Miami Dolphins.
Bang.
So the Giants falling to
All
1-4, 31-16 here. Daniel Jones leaving this game in the second half with a neck injury. So this
Tyrod,
long
take-
season continues for Big Blue here. Miami, really could have won this game by a lot more if it wasn't the 2 picks that Tua threw. One of them going for a pick six, 102 yards from Jason Pinnock.
Pretty impressive.
But the rookie running back. One more time, Riley. It's Devon
A-Chain.
A-Chain.
Talk about a team that can draft.
Yeah, I mean Miami with the speed. He had 11 carries, 151 yards, including a 76-yard touchdown run. Mostert also ran 10 times, 65 yards in a score. Tyreek Hill all over the field, including a 69-yard touchdown, 8 receptions, 181. So the Dolphins, after that disappointing loss to Buffalo last week, really rebounding here and kind of stating their case that they remain one of the top teams in the league, especially offensively. It's just amazing what they can do with the speed. Everybody who touches the ball can outrun anyone else on the field, it seems like.
It's kind of ridiculous. They are by far the quickest team, like in every facet, dude. And it's kind of ridiculous. That no one can really catch them.
Yeah,
and no one can stop that.
And
offense.
you put them in that system too.
It's stupid.
It really
and that
just goes
crazy.
You bring a guy in like McDaniels, he can change a whole organization. He schemed around their speed, and now it's like
the
their
coaching
offense is insane.
Great coach.
Who do we think the best team in the AFC is?
What do you think, Riley?
I mean, I want to say Dolphins, but you can't say Dolphins after the performance against the Bills. I want to say Chiefs, but I still think their offense isn't that good. You even saw it yesterday. They 7 points to the Vikings. Like, I'm going to go still the Buffalo Bills.
The New York Jets
are the best team in the AFC still.
Honestly, I think I would say Dolphins at that point.
Yeah.
I would have to say Dolphins.
I have to say Chiefs, just because they are the defending champs, and they did win again yesterday. I know it was close in Minnesota here, but they did win 27-20. Patrick Mahomes, 31 of 41, 281, 2 touchdowns.
Wow, dude.
Travis Kelce did leave the game with an ankle injury, but came back in to catch a touchdown. He had 10 receptions for 67 yards. Mahomes really spreading the ball out here. Let's see, 3, 6, 9, 10 different receivers. So he also found Rashee Rice, the rookie wide receiver, for a touchdown as well. So it just seems like no matter who he's throwing to, who's carrying the ball out of the backfield, he's able to produce results. Pacheco, 16 carries, 55 yards, and a touchdown. And Jerick McKinnon also had a carry and caught a couple of passes out of the backfield. So I think they can. It's a different formula for Kansas City. We're so used to them pounding the ball to like Tyreek Hill, kind of honing in on a couple of guys, but they're just spreading the ball out. Kelsey's there over the middle when they need a completion. Obviously, you just have to be concerned. He already missed one game with an injury to start the year, and he is 34 years old now, so you got to make sure.
Is he really?
Yeah. You got to make sure he can stay healthy for the duration, because there's not an obvious number one target here. But when you have Patrick Mahomes, it seems like there's this magic formula that he can make it work no matter who he's throwing the ball to. And that's why I feel like they're the best team in the AFC.
Yeah. I mean, I think you're right. Again, he can find anyone on the field. I mean, look at how he makes Kadarius Toney look. I mean, that guy kind of sucks, I think.
Yeah.
And he makes him look really good. He had, Toney had a good game, 5 receptions, 26 yards there. But yeah, it would be so, oh my goodness. If Travis Kelce, do you know, it's crazy. I didn't realize how old he was. Has he had any major injuries?
No.
In his career?
The game he missed opening the season against the Lions, first game he missed since 2013.
Yeah.
No kidding. And that was because of the hyperextension, right?
Yes.
Consistent.
That's crazy, dude. Do you know ankle, same leg as the knee extension? No.
I'm not sure.
It looked bad.
It did look kind of bad.
It did look
bad.
I kind of was thinking torn Achilles, to be honest. When I
thought a broken ankle.
Yeah, crazy.
I just kind of feel like they're gonna try to add somebody before the deadline at wide receiver.
Me too. I think they add someone
at wide receiver.
Yeah,
but I mean, I think it just goes to the NFL now is a quarterback league.
Right.
He's the best quarterback in the world. He can make anything happen. These guys are not well-known wide receivers. I think this guy Rice is actually going to be.
Yeah, he will be good.
I think he's going to be good. He looks good, but I mean, and how good is it as a rookie wide receiver to have Patrick Mahomes throwing you the ball?
Oh yeah,
it must feel so great.
And did you see that catch by Watson? like the tight end.
Oh, yeah.
That was
Nuts.
ridiculous.
Let's climb the ladder. That also
Ridiculous.
changed the game. That was a 3rd and 18.
Yeah, that was a 3rd and 18. Seemed like it could have been picked off, but that's just the magic of Patrick Mahomes, I guess.
Dude.
Speaking of another, big time quarterback here, we saw the Bengals 34-20 over the Cards. So a lot of concerns, over Joe Burrow going into this one. He answered all of those concerns. 36-46, 3 scores, 1 pick. Obviously, the star of this game, Jamar Chase, 15 catches for 192 yards and 3 touchdowns. We know it's against Arizona, but I think this really brings back a lot of optimism to Cincinnati because that AFC North, I think, is wide open, and they got to just, obviously they started out in a hole here, but have an opportunity to win some games. They're going to be tested though. Seattle, San Francisco, Buffalo, the next 3 games, but this Burrow to Chase connection is pretty special.
As a
Easily,
Bengals
dude.
fan, isn't that what you would want? Like now they're getting tested. If they're really back, they should go in. And
Just when are you a Bengals
these
fan?
games, no. I'm not
general,
saying
yeah.
I'm a Bengals fan. But if I was, I'd be pumped up to go into these games because I thought they actually looked well. I thought the Burrow and Jamar Chase, maybe that's back. Mixon even looked a little better. These looked the whole year.
Yeah.
Again, against a team that's not great. But now you go into these games and you say, if we can win these games, why aren't we in the top echelon of the AFC? Why not? If we can win, we can beat the Niners, we beat these teams. I don't know. Beat the Bills. Gets interesting.
I got to give it to Matthew Ryan. He's certainly persistent.
Yeah.
Good typer.
Honestly, I think he's taken over for me.
I don't think
even need to say
there
anything.
hasn't been one typo. I don't like, honestly, dude. That's kind of crazy.
Arizona quarterback better.
Josh
Josh
Dobbs.
Dobbs.
Josh Dobbs.
I mean, it is an interesting thought, though, Riley. No, Josh Dobbs in the Jet offense. I mean,
No,
it's interesting.
Can we
don't-
stop with the it's
hey,
interesting?
hey,
No,
I don't hate that. It was
it's
interesting.
I don't
ridiculous.
hate that
It's
take. I don't
ridiculous.
hate
So
that
All I
ridiculous.
said was it was interesting.
It's definitely
Something to kill
interesting.
me
Yeah,
for.
sure.
I said it's
Definitely
interesting. Moving along, though,
Keep
the
moving.
Jets'
Keep moving
next
along.
opponent, the Philadelphia Eagles, 23-14 over the Rams. The brotherly shove on full effect in this one. Jalen Hurts, another 300-yard passing game. Did have 1 interception, but threw a touchdown, only sacked once, ran the ball for 72 yards, and had a rushing touchdown. We talked about their weapons. A.J. Brown, 6 catches, 127 yards. It seemed like all day Kevin Burkhardt's calling his name running down the field. Dallas Goedert proved to be a mismatch as well. 8 receptions, 117 yards and a score. And I mentioned Devonta Smith only had 1 catch for 6 yards. I think they were talking things over on the sideline with Sirianni. And, the Rams definitely were in this till the end, but just didn't have enough. But Cooper Kupp in his first game of the year, 8 receptions for 118 yards. So that Stafford to Kupp connection, I think, is real. And despite the Rams being 2-3, I think they're very much in it. And it was just a tough matchup,
dude.
Lonnie, Tony's really Zach protector right now, huh? Like, what? Come on, dude. Like, what the fuck is going on here, dude?
No,
Like,
I
honestly,
think
I feel like we're in the Twilight Zone.
No,
right now.
no. But you know what it is, and I feel like I had a full weekend to reflect on this with the whole Zach stuff. Is I think where like things were getting misconstrued is I think it came off as like, yes, like he progressed, did better, and I think what I was just getting frustrated with is that like because of that one game,
Right.
it was like now he's supposed to be the risen Messiah, and it just like I think it should have just been more like, okay, he's showing some positive steps. Let's see it out, but let's not also. People were talking Super Bowl MVPs. It's just like
Who was talking
I think
that?
I
Who?
think
Who
it got.
said
I don't
that?
know.
The people
Somebody
on-
commented
no,
and said
you
that.
don't know. Nobody
It was your-
commented
It was your
that,
burner. It was your burner.
Stop it.
But
Stop
come on,
it.
I think there's common ground here. He's showing some good things, but he still has a lot to work on. I mean,
absolutely.
there's nothing to argue about. That's it.
But people to tell that I am a protector of Zach Wilson.
yeah.
Like I'm just calling it like I see it right now.
But
all right, there's
Yeah.
many different things that are wrong with the Jets.
Right.
Many different things.
Oh,
Okay, Zach Wilson being one of them that could certainly improve upon his game.
yeah.
But to sit here and for Matthew Ryan to be like everyone in the entire league is better than Zach Wilson's quarterback, that is ridiculous. I think it's like he has your best chances of winning right now, and he's shown it. He has shown it. He gave you the best shot against Kansas City. You beat Denver,
Like, what are we talking about right
Well,
now?
it's just now our hands forced because we're in the middle of the season. We can't take weeks for somebody to look a playbook. You know, like I said a million times, the time was right after that Monday night game, week 1. If you weren't going to do it then I mean, you're kind of you can't really trade for anybody.
I honestly think
thank you, by the way.
It's kind of at the point where it's not going to happen. He's not going to get changed out. It's just what's going to be the rest of the year.
Right.
Instead of talking about Zach Wilson, we're just talking about the Jets in general.
Yeah.
Just like,
they
won. Yeah. Zach Wilson's here. Whatever people say about him is not going to change whether he plays or not. Because I truly think putting Trevor Siemian makes 0 sense.
0 sense.
Yeah.
But Josh Dobbs.
But I think I think we're all on the same page there. So let's just leave it at that. But back to the Eagles here. This was their largest margin of victory. 9 points of the season. It'll all have been 1 possession games before this. But doing a good job on defense, 4 sacks there of Matt Stafford. What do we think about the Eagles moving forward? I mean, are they neck and neck with the Niners as the best team in the league?
The Eagles
5-0, only other undefeated team.
I know, dude. I don't know how like what was their schedule like so far?
Beat the Pats week 1.
Right.
Yeah, I mean,
have they been challenged a lot?
I mean, they beat the Pats, they beat the Vikings, they beat the Bucks, they beat the Commanders, and then the Rams.
I think the Rams are a good team.
The Rams probably
was
the best victory that they had this year because all those other teams. I mean, I guess the Bucks are okay,
but still, I mean, I don't know, dude. I mean, obviously, those are all. I mean, I guess they were pretty like. I guess the Commanders was 1 possession. So was against the Patriots.
Yeah.
I don't know, dude. I don't think they're better than the Niners.
No, but I think short of the Niners, I think there's an argument that they're the second best team, and that'll be a good game. What is that in December?
Yeah.
But because I just feel like the whole like short yardage scenario, you can't stop them, and then when you have Brown and Smith streaking down the field, also you could throw in Dallas Goedert. That's a lot to deal with as an opposing defense.
Yeah. I think that the Niners offensively almost match up with. I mean, Hurts I think beats out Purdy at quarterback. But the thing is, the backfield, like, I think the Niners blow them out. I think Swift is good, but like, you got McCaffrey blows out anyone, and then Devontae Smith got one reception this Sunday. That's interesting. Like, mix him in. AJ Brown was nuts. He's always going to be nuts,
right?
And then you got Debo and Brandon Ayuk for the Niners. So their offenses are really close. Both offensive lines are really good. Defensively, I think the Niners could have a better defense, which I think flips it into
I'm just saying this right now. And of course, yes, overall, I hope that miraculously the Jets win the Super Bowl this year. But I think, and it's a good segue into the last game we're going to recap here. I think the Niners are Super Bowl favorites by a long shot. I think top to bottom, they're so sound. They're well coached. They have a great defense. They have a smart quarterback, and they have Tony's favorite backup quarterback of all time, Sam Darnold. Pass last night. But a complete romping here. How about them Cowboys? 42-10 Niners over the Cowboys. And I honestly saw this coming from my way. Maybe not that margin of victory, but it's just like, yes, coming in hot, has a great defense. Dak looks good at times. Last night was not an example of that.
No, it was not.
But the Niners just like Kyle Shanahan puts everybody in the best position to win games. And he's doing it with, last year's last pick in the draft. Purdy, 4 touchdowns last night, 17-24, 83 quarterback rating, threw 3 touchdowns to George Kittle, who didn't have any touchdowns going into this game. Christian McCaffrey scored for his 15th straight game. He was kind of bottled up a little bit, but didn't matter. Jordan Mason, the rookie backup running back, also had 69 yards on the ground. But the defense, the turnovers, Fred Warner is an absolute animal at linebacker. He starred last night. You had 4 sacks. And then, like I mentioned, you had the turnovers as well. And then, recovering that fumble from Tony Pollard. But I really like it, trying very hard. I can't find a weakness with this Niners team.
There is none. They're the best in the NFL, bar none.
And what is it? Is the only game that they lost with Brock Purdy the NFC Championship game last year, or was it
I-
like one other one during the regular season?
No, I don't think there was.
Well, they didn't even have Purdy was out in like the first quarter.
And then
Yeah,
remember,
yeah,
he had to hand. He threw one
Yeah.
screen pass,
Yeah,
and then
yeah.
he had to hand the ball off the rest of the time.
Yeah.
Because I was huge on them going into that game. You know,
Yeah.
I thought they were gonna beat the Eagles, but I just did want.
I
I
think he
almost
has one loss.
But is it just the playoff loss?
It might be.
I'm pretty sure, dude. Let's see.
I actually am right
Pro
on top of this.
Football Reference. 2022.
Yep, he's
5-0.
Yep, 10-0 as a starting
Yeah,
quarterback,
dude.
regular season, one loss, Eagles.
Yeah.
So that'll be a great game later in the season.
That is crazy, dude.
But this, I
Let's
mean,
go,
if they
baby.
stay healthy, I think they're actually going to easily win the
Easily.
Super Bowl, and they're due. It's been a long time,
Dude, Kittle
since
with
the
a great
Niners have won a
game,
Super
dude.
Bowl.
Like, good for him.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Kittle. And the thing is, you just think about, he's a very good offensive tight end, but he's a hell of a blocker.
Yeah.
All these wide lanes that the running backs
Yeah.
run through.
Yeah.
He's doing the legwork.
I mean, he's like, think about it too. Like, he didn't have any touchdown passes until last night.
Yeah.
But he was still like a huge part of their offense because of his ability to block. Like,
Yeah.
he's still a huge piece even when he's not holding
Exactly.
the ball.
And
which is great.
it's like, even if he disappears for certain games, it's all just game flow.
Yeah.
He's still one of the best tight ends in the game.
And he'll be there when you need him, dude.
Absolutely. So San Francisco moves to 5-0, Dallas to 3-2. And just looking ahead quickly here, they have the Browns, Niners at the Browns next week.
Oh boy.
And then
blowout.
I mean, well, especially if Watson's not going to play, but I would imagine he'll be back for that one.
Really?
And we know how talented the Niners are, but I mean, there's got to be some concern for the Cowboys here, no?
Oh yeah, 100%. I mean, you look at their wins. They beat the Jets, they beat the Patriots, and they beat the Giants. They then got blown out by the Niners. So what is their
And
wins?
lost to the Cardinals.
And lost to the Cardinals.
That's
Yeah.
So
right,
what is their
dude.
wins showed you? Nothing. And then they lost to a shitty team, and then they got blown out by
Yeah.
a good team. So it's like,
Right.
are they good?
No.
Who knows?
No. I mean, it's like, I guess they did blow out the Pats, Jets, and Giants, like not even freaking close.
But that's not.
But
yeah.
I mean, it's great that you're doing.
not
I
playoff
suppose you're beating a team you're supposed to in a pretty emphatic fashion, which is fine. Like, that's pretty cool. But then obviously, like, the loss to the Cardinals shows inconsistency, and then not being even competitive closely with the Niners. I mean, that tells me you're not going to be good against a good team.
And I mean, we're going to find out a lot about this team the next 3 weeks at Chargers Monday Night Football, which, that'll have a huge Dallas
That'll be a
presence.
Dallas home game.
However, I think the Chargers will give them some trouble. It's just, will Brandon Staley blow it for them? I could easily see the Rams giving them trouble as well. That's a home game. And then they're at the Eagles. So they could literally lose all 3 of those games if they're not on their game.
They will.
And what do you guys think's up with Dak? Like, is he not as good of a quarterback as we thought he was?
Listen, man. I mean, the turnovers were always an issue for him. He
Last
hasn't
year
been
was
able
the
to
height
fix
of
that.
it.
Yeah, they get 14 or 15 interceptions
After missing games, he was doing that. Yeah.
So it's pretty crazy. I feel like that the turnovers, the lack of coming up big in big spots, right? He just doesn't have it. And I think the more pressure on him, I mean, the more you're going to see him turn the ball over. I mean, dude, last night, some of those picks were atrocious. And McCarthy was tight. You saw him kind of yelling at him. Dak disappointed.
Yeah.
It's tough, dude. It really is. For him, and I just think that's what it is. I mean, I think that's what it was.
Yeah.
It feels like he's trying to like get the ball into CD maybe when he shouldn't. I mean, other receivers really haven't stood up on that team. Michael Gallup really hasn't done much of anything this year. Brandon Cooks was out for a couple weeks, haven't done much of anything this year. You also kind of flipping the script onto their defense. You forget Diggs is out for the year. That's a huge loss.
Yeah, because Stephon Gilmore, he's good, but he's older to be your number 1 quarter.
Exactly.
He's like
Diggs-
33 years old.
Diggs is fantastic. But getting right back to Dak, the turnovers is always a problem. He can throw a good ball. We've seen that. Like, he can make great passes, but I think the decision making sometimes gets a little.
Yeah. And we do have some comments that we should get to, I think, that makes sense. Jay Bird saying people are calling him Dak Jones.
Okay. I mean, I'll still take him over Daniel Jones, but
and Jay Bird says Matthew's obsessed with Zach Wilson. Wouldn't be surprised if he has a shrine dedicated to him, like Helga and Hey Arnold. And Matt Ryan, class back at Jay Bird. No, I just want to win. If the Jets win next week, I will apologize to Tony for everything I said. And then Jay Bird says, brother, what happened yesterday? I mean, I will say, I'm pretty sure Matthew Ryan said, like, if the Jets win, he'll apologize. So, I mean,
yeah.
now he's next week.
No, and I mean, we've already went over this, but dude. I mean, this week is a big test. You know what I mean? If you have it in you to beat a tough team like that, a team you've never beaten in your franchise history,
let's go.
And that it has to be on your right shoulder, go do it. Dude, yeah. I mean, this is it. You're going to have a bye week after that, then a game with the Giants. But what a better feel of optimism going to that bye week 3-3 versus if you're 2-4.
Yeah.
It's show up and compete. We saw them compete against the Chiefs. You have to compete against the Eagles, win or lose.
Totally right. 100%.
So we'll have to see what happens.
100.
We do have one more game left here, week 5.
More game. Let's go.
The Green Bay Packers traveling into Las Vegas. Again, I'm sure there's a big Packer presence there in Las Vegas.
Oh, yeah, man.
Packers coming to this game 2-2, embarrassed by the Lions last Thursday. And then the Raiders have struggled since winning that opening game, dropping their last 3. Devontae Adams and Aaron Jones, both questionable in this one, but both expected to play. Obviously, very important part of both teams here. So really, I mean, both teams, season on the line. I know we're expecting the Raiders, not to really do anything this year. Packers, though, right there at 2-2.
Have to do Raiders Nation.
Jimmy G back from that concussion. Aiden O'Connell had started last week. So when we look at this game, the Raiders, 2 points they get, for being at home here. What are we expecting to see? Both teams are desperate. Obviously, the Packers have looked like the better football team. Didn't look like it last week, but other than that, they've been very competitive.
Yeah.
What are we expecting to see out there?
Honestly, I think Jordan Love drops like 300 yards through the air, 3 passing
Christian
touchdowns.
Watson.
Yeah, dude, all day. The running game is hot. They do the play action. I think Jordan Love, really flexes his muscles here. Because the Raiders, I'm sorry, I just can't see it. I can't, dude.
Is their biggest detriment Josh McDaniels?
I think so. It seems like it, right?
It just seems like every time he's the head of a football team, it's a disaster.
Yeah, he's an OC.
Yeah.
He's an OC.
I just don't understand. I see him talk sometimes. It's just like, how could you be cool with this guy being your head coach?
Mm-hmm.
And Matthew Ryan even agrees with me. Because Jimmy G, stop it. He says Zach Wilson better than Jimmy G in his opinion, which I think means a lot coming from Matt Ryan over here.
It means a lot. I'll just say it means a lot, but that's.
I think that's absurd.
Yeah, but also it's absurd. Yes. But so what are you expecting as a score? Is this high scoring? Is this low scoring? Is it a close game? What are you expecting here, Tony?
27-10.
27-10.
Maybe 27-13.
Okay.
Give it to me. What do you got?
What do you think, Riley?
I think shootout. I think it's gonna be a shootout. I think kind of what Tony said. I think Love comes out, throws for 300, a couple touchdowns through the air, maybe an Aaron Jones rushing touchdown. And I also think with Jimmy G back, maybe they get Devontae a lot of touches. Maybe they get their scoring going. So I'm expecting a high flying game. Maybe both teams in the 30s.
Wow. Who's winning?
I got the Packers.
What's the margin?
38-31.
38-31. Wow.
Scoregami, maybe.
Yeah, and it's just interesting too. McDaniels, he's known as a smart offensive guy. You have the leading receiver in the NFL last year, Devontae Adams, the leading rusher in Josh Jacobs. And I don't know, it just doesn't look as good as it should. So as much as I for whatever reason, I've always, maybe it's just the Raiders. I've always enjoyed, seeing them be competitive, but I don't think they're going to do it. I really don't. I think Green Bay is a well-coached football team, tough on the defensive side. And I think they're going to make more of an emphasis to run the ball as well. They haven't had nearly the rushing numbers that they had at this point last season. And I'm sure Vegas will try to do that too. But I think this Green Bay defense can shut that down. So give me the Pack here. I could see this being close. So let's see. So the total here, 46. I'm gonna say it's gonna go under, but the Packers are gonna win here 24-17.
Interesting. Now, just looking at some key injuries here. David Bakhtiari's out
for the season.
Yeah.
He's really struggled with health.
That's tough, dude. The knee injury. Because they might get Jenkins back, their left guard.
Jair Alexander might come back.
Yeah, might come back. Let's say questionable. Jeez, dude. Obviously, Jimmy G back.
But
That's tough.
I hope it's an entertaining one.
Yeah, me too.
And then the Packers obviously with a win here, jumping right back in the mix. In the NFC North, there'll be a game back of Detroit. So
Oh my God, dude.
What's that?
Raiders' most recent victory against the Packers. It was a 20-0 win on September 13th of 1987.
Well, being
Nice.
different conferences, they don't play a lot. That's
right,
why.
right. But it's just funny.
Yeah, that's a long time. I mean, that's like the Jets and the Eagles, except they never won,
Yeah.
which is crazy to think too. All the years of football that we've had, and those organizations have been around for a while.
I know, it's crazy.
So we'll have to see what happens. But that one, 8:15 ABC, ESPN.
Hey, yeah.
One other thing
Kevin Dude's tight.
I wanted to mention here, kind of crazy and obviously well overshadowed by football, but we had a 5-man playoff, Sanderson Farms Championship, Jackson, Mississippi. Luke List coming up top there. The 4 other golfers, Ben Griffin, Ludwig Adberg, Scott Stallings, and Henrik Norlander, all with pars on the 18th playoff hole. Luke List with the birdie to win this one. So congratulations to him. And coming at 18 under par, so scoring got a little tougher over the weekend. Did you catch any of this, Riley?
I did. I think something that this showed me. I mean, obviously the field, you get the PGA fall events. They're not. It's the off season for most of the big guys,
And especially the way they did it now with like qualifying for elevated.
So obviously not the biggest field, but a guy like Ludwig Aberg to play in his first PGA Tour event, it just shows you how good that kid. I mean, I think he's going to be really good.
Oh yeah,
just playing the Ryder Cup before he played a major. The guy's 22 years old, comes in first tournament, he goes into a playoff, like he's right there into it. So I'm just excited to see what he does in his career, because if I could put a prop bet on him winning a major soon, like within the next 2 years, maybe 3 years, I would put it.
Let's go.
Yeah. So this week we get a treat, Las Vegas. Which kind of interesting. Football game there tonight. Golf tournament starts on Thursday, so that's a busy week there out in the desert. Shriners Children's Open. So that's always a good one. I love just mountain courses out west. It's just a completely different feel from what we have here.
I think they're going to Utah for the first time in a while.
That's going to be great.
Yeah.
Have you seen, me and Tony pulled it up a while ago, the backdrop for the BYU baseball team?
Oh, it's insane.
That's like the best field I've ever seen.
Unbelievable.
You can't beat that.
A really good one too is Appalachian State has a really good one.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
Yeah, that's awesome stuff. So, yeah, we'll have to see what happens. Hopefully, we get a competitive game tonight. And then we'll wrap up week 5, which is just unbelievable to say, Tony.
I know,
but that's where we're at right now.
Soon we'll be in the playoffs, dude.
Anything else you guys wanted to mention here as we wrap up shop? I feel like, where did the show go? Like,
honestly,
we just started
hour and a half. I feel like we literally started 2 minutes
Football
ago.
just takes
it really does. So
just get lost.
We'll do baseball tomorrow, even though I said I'll have to do baseball because
baseball tomorrow, hockey tomorrow.
Baseball and hockey tomorrow. Huge episode tomorrow. And also I think that's really it, I guess, dude.
And then maybe upset, or actually it wouldn't be an upset, but maybe surprise victory for the Raiders.
Raiders,
we're not expecting,
dude.
but maybe.
I don't know. Kev Dude is expecting. What do you say? Kev Dude said 28-17 Raiders.
You know what I would love to see? I know Kev knows him because
he says that Riley is smoking that bullshit.
I want to see
I'm not smoking any bullshit.
Daniel Carlson, one of the best kickers in the league. Let's see him win it from like 68 field goal record.
Wow, the record.
Walk-off win.
Yes,
Gatorade
dude.
After. Riley, we've always been big on kicking on this show and like length of field goals.
And
I like
long field goals. We haven't had a long one.
No,
like
it's been a while.
60-yarder for a game
Denver.
too.
But it was funny. Right before Justin Tucker broke it 2 years ago, we were talking about how the record's never going to be broken, and it was just so crazy how that happened.
Yeah,
should have been a delay game. Ball hits off the front of the crossbar. That was unbelievable. Yeah, Tucker can do it.
Definitely.
And Carlson could do it as well.
Kev Dew says he's going to try calling if the Raiders win tomorrow. Let's
Matthew
go,
Ryan
baby.
asking for the Masters music.
This is you, dude. It's got to be you.
Augusta National. Arnold Palmer. Do you think Jim Nantz will ever give up the honor to hosts at Augusta National?
No.
Iron Eagle down his throat for that position. But he did give him the March Madness, so maybe he's okay with that. It's like
I think Jim has to stay on the Masters.
Yeah. He really is unbelievable.
I love him.
Yeah. It's always classic with Nance.
Loves it.
But yeah, a lot of interaction today. We love that. Love the conversation. Shout out to the company as always. And we encourage Michael Renee J in costume. He's acting. Josh must have stepped out for the second. When we talked about picks, yes, you guys are up by a half game. We only went 1-2, so the 1.5 lead game lead we had before. Now you're up a half game. So congratulations.
Don't get used to it.
Don't get used to it. Don't get used to it. But we encourage everybody to continue to comment, like, and subscribe. All of the archives on the YouTube page, Tony, Michael, Renee, and Jay in costume. The merch at downtimetv.com. We want everybody to enjoy the day, enjoy the games, and we will see you mañana.
Hey guys, Tony here from Downtime TV checking in. I want to thank all our fans out there who's been liking, subscribing, sharing our content. You guys are the best. You guys are our bloodline. You make us love what we do. Thanks again.